Trust me with your discipline and self-control. The fruit of the Spirit includes self-control, but it's one of the hardest fruits to develop. Trust me to help you discipline your body, mind, and spirit. Trust me to give you strength to resist temptation. Trust me to help you develop healthy habits and break destructive ones. Trust me that discipline is not punishment, it's training. Trust me that short-term sacrifice leads to long-term reward. Trust me that I'm not asking you to be perfect, just faithful. Trust me that self-control is actually spirit control, allowing my spirit to rule over your flesh. Trust me with your rest and Sabbath. I established a pattern of work and rest from the beginning of creation. Trust me that rest is not lazy, it's obedient. Trust me that you're not indispensable, and the world will keep turning if you take a day off. Trust me that Sabbath rest is about trusting me to provide rather than relying on your constant striving. Trust me to help you unplug, slow down, and be present. Trust me that rest restores what work depletes. Trust me that you work best when you rest well. Trust me to guard your Sabbath against the intrusion of anxiety and obligation. Trust me with your teachers and mentors. Throughout your life, I will bring people to teach you, guide you, challenge you, and shape you. Some will stay for a season, others for a lifetime. Trust me to send the right teachers at the right time. Trust me to help you receive correction without defensiveness. Trust me to give you discernment about whose voice to listen to and whose to ignore. Trust me to make you teachable even when lessons are painful. Trust me that iron sharpens iron, and I use godly mentors to refine your character. Trust me to help you eventually become a mentor to others, passing on what you've learned. Trust me with your criticism and critiques. Not all criticism is bad, but it's hard to receive, isn't it? Trust me to help you distinguish between constructive feedback and destructive attacks. Trust me to give you the humility to learn from legitimate criticism. Trust me to give you the confidence to dismiss criticism that's rooted in jealousy or misunderstanding. Trust me to soften your heart toward those who criticize you, remembering that hurt people hurt people. Trust me that I am the ultimate judge of your life, and my opinion is the only one that matters eternally. Trust me to use even unfair criticism to expose areas where you need to grow. Trust me with your resources and supplies. Whether you have much or little, trust me to provide what you need when you need it. Trust me that I fed Elijah by ravens during a drought. Trust me that I provided manna in the wilderness. Trust me that I multiplied oil for the widow. Trust me that I am Jehovah Jireh, your provider. Trust me to open unexpected sources of supply. Trust me to stretch what you have when resources seem insufficient. Trust me to teach you contentment in every circumstance. Trust me that my provision may not always look like you expect, but it will always be sufficient. Trust me with your transitions. Life is full of transitions, moving to a new city, starting a new job, entering a new season, closing a chapter and beginning another. Transitions are uncomfortable because they involve letting go of the familiar and embracing the unknown. Trust me to guide you through every transition. Trust me that I go before you to prepare the way. Trust me that I will never ask you to leave something without leading you to something better. Trust me to give you courage for new beginnings. Trust me to help you grieve endings well. Trust me that I am the God of transitions, always making a way where there seems to be no way. Trust me with your authority and leadership. If you're in a position of authority as a parent, manager, teacher, pastor, or leader in any capacity, you carry significant responsibility. Trust me to give you wisdom to lead well. Trust me to help you balance authority with humility. Trust me to show you how to serve those you lead. Trust me to give you discernment about decisions that affect others. Trust me to protect you from the corruption that power can bring. Trust me to help you reproduce leaders, not just gather followers. Trust me that leadership is ultimately about stewardship of the influence I've entrusted to you. Trust me with your submission to authority. I've established authorities in your life, spiritual leaders, government officials, bosses, and others. Trust me to help you submit respectfully to legitimate authority. Trust me to give you wisdom about when submission is required and when it's not. Trust me that honoring authority honors me, even when you disagree with those in power. Trust me to protect you when authority is abused. Trust me that I am the ultimate authority, and all human authority is subject to me. Trust me that I can work through imperfect leaders to accomplish my purposes. Trust me with your justice and mercy. Life isn't fair, is it? Some people seem to prosper despite their wickedness, while good people suffer unjustly. Trust me that I see everything and I will judge righteously in the end. Trust me that mercy triumphs over judgment. Trust me to give you a heart that seeks justice while extending mercy. Trust me to help you balance truth and grace. Trust me that I'm not asking you to choose between justice and mercy. I embody both perfectly, and I'll teach you to do the same. Trust me that what seems like injustice now will be made right when I establish my kingdom fully. Trust me with your courage and bravery. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Trust me to make you brave in the face of danger, opposition, or uncertainty. Trust me to help you do the right thing even when it's hard. Trust me to give you boldness to speak truth in difficult situations. Trust me that perfect love casts out fear. Trust me that I am with you, so you don't have to be afraid. Trust me that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite fear. Trust me to turn your fear into faith and your anxiety into action. Trust me with your peace. The world offers peace, but it's a shallow peace that depends on circumstances. I offer you a peace that surpasses understanding, a peace that remains even when life is chaotic. Trust me to guard your heart and mind with my peace. Trust me that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of my spirit. Trust me to teach you to be anxious for nothing, but in everything, through prayer and petition with thanksgiving, to present your requests to me. Trust me that my peace is available to you in every situation, every moment, every circumstance. Trust me to be your Prince of Peace. Trust me with your conflicts and confrontations. Conflict is inevitable when imperfect people interact. Trust me to give you wisdom about when to address issues and when to let them go. Trust me to help you speak the truth in love. Trust me to give you the right words at the right time. Trust me to protect relationships during difficult conversations. Trust me to help you listen to understand, not just to respond. Trust me to give you humility to admit when you're wrong. Trust me to help you forgive quickly and fully. Trust me that peacemaking is different from peacekeeping. Sometimes love requires difficult conversations. Trust me with your preparation and planning. I want you to be prepared, but not anxious. Trust me to show you what to prepare for and what to leave in my hands. Trust me that worrying about tomorrow steals joy from today. Trust me to give you foresight without fear. Trust me to help you be wise as a serpent and innocent as a dove. Trust me to balance preparation with spontaneity. Trust me to teach you when to save and when to spend, when to work and when to rest, when to speak and when to be silent. Trust me that I'm already in your tomorrow, making it ready for you. Trust me with your seasons and cycles. Your life moves through seasons just like nature does. There are seasons of planting and seasons of harvest, seasons of growth and seasons of pruning, seasons of plenty and seasons of scarcity. Trust me that every season has a purpose. Trust me that winter always gives way to spring. Trust me that dormant seasons are not dead seasons but preparation seasons. Trust me to help you embrace the season you're in rather than wishing for a different one. Trust me that I am Lord of all seasons, and I never waste a single one. Trust me with your comfort zone. I didn't call you to a life of comfort. I called you to a life of purpose. Sometimes purpose requires you to step outside what feels safe and familiar. Trust me to push you beyond your comfort zone. Trust me that growth happens at the edge of your capabilities, not in the center of your competence. Trust me to give you courage to try new things, visit new places, meet new people, tackle new challenges. Trust me that your comfort zone will expand as you trust me in uncomfortable situations. Trust me that the greatest adventures of your life are waiting just outside what feels safe. Trust me with your technology and digital footprint. The online world is real and has real consequences. Trust me to help you use technology wisely. Trust me to protect your private information. Trust me to guard your heart against comparison and envy on social media. Trust me to give you discernment about what to share and what to keep private. Trust me to help you be authentic online, not presenting a false version of yourself. Trust me to use technology for good, to encourage others, spread truth, and build genuine connections. Trust me to help you unplug regularly and engage with the real world. Trust me with your environment and surroundings. Your environment affects you more than you realize. Trust me to guide you to places that nurture your soul. Trust me to help you create spaces that reflect peace and order. Trust me to show you when it's time to declutter, simplify, and let go of things that no longer serve you. Trust me to surround you with beauty, whether in nature or in your home. Trust me that you don't need expensive things to create a pleasant environment. You need intentionality and my presence. Trust me with your addictions and compulsions. Whether it's substances, behaviors, or thought patterns that control you, I am stronger than any addiction. Trust me to break every chain that binds you. Trust me to give you strength to resist temptation one moment at a time. Trust me to replace destructive habits with life-giving ones. Trust me to heal the underlying pain that drives your addictive behaviors. Trust me to surround you with support and accountability. Trust me that freedom is possible, no matter how long you've been enslaved. Trust me that I specialize in setting captives free. Trust me with your boundaries. Boundaries are not selfish, they're necessary. Trust me to help you establish healthy boundaries that protect your peace, your time, your energy, and your values. Trust me to give you courage to say no without guilt. Trust me to help you honor others' boundaries even when it's inconvenient for you. Trust me that boundaries actually improve relationships by creating respect and clarity. Trust me to show you where you need stronger boundaries and where you might be too rigid. Trust me that setting boundaries is an act of wisdom and self-care, not selfishness. Trust me with your wandering. I know you've strayed from me at times. I know there have been seasons when you pursued other things, other loves, other gods. But I am like the father of the prodigal son, always watching for your return, always ready to run to you, always prepared to celebrate your homecoming. Trust me that no matter how far you've wandered, you're never beyond my reach. Trust me that I will pursue you with relentless love. Trust me that coming home is always an option. Trust me that I don't shame you for your wandering. I simply welcome you back with open arms. Trust me with your influence and impact. You underestimate the ripple effects of your life. Every word spoken, every action taken, every choice made sends waves into eternity. Trust me that you are influencing people in ways you cannot see or measure. Trust me that your faithfulness in small things is creating massive impact. Trust me that the people watching you are learning from you, whether you intend to teach them or not. Trust me to help you steward your influence wisely. Trust me that I can multiply your small acts of obedience into kingdom movements. Trust me with your doubt. Doubt is not the opposite of faith. It's often the pathway to deeper faith. Thomas doubted, but then declared Jesus as Lord and God. Trust me that your questions don't offend me. Trust me that wrestling with me often precedes breakthrough. Trust me that I'm big enough to handle your doubts and secure enough not to be threatened by your questions. Trust me that honest doubt is better than pretended certainty. Trust me to meet you in your doubt and lead you to deeper understanding. Trust me that the end of your questions is not a dead end, but a doorway to greater revelation. Trust me with your spiritual gifts. I have given you specific gifts to serve the body of Christ and advance my kingdom. Maybe you don't know what your gifts are yet, or maybe you know but you're afraid to use them. Trust me to reveal your gifts in the right timing. Trust me to create opportunities for you to exercise your gifts. Trust me to multiply the effectiveness of your gifts when you use them for my glory. Trust me to protect you from pride when your gifts are recognized. Trust me that your gifts are not for self-promotion, but for serving others. Trust me to continually develop and refine your gifts throughout your life. Trust me with your integrity. Character is who you are when no one is watching. Trust me to help you maintain integrity in every area of your life, in your finances, your relationships, your work, your words. Trust me that shortcuts lead to long detours. Trust me that doing the right thing, even when it costs you, is always worth it in the end. Trust me to give you courage to be honest when lying would be easier. Trust me to help you keep your promises even when it's inconvenient. Trust me that integrity is the foundation of lasting success and genuine respect. Trust me with your comparison and competition. The comparison game is rigged. There will always be someone ahead of you and someone behind you. Trust me to free you from the trap of comparison. Trust me that you are not in competition with others because you're running your own unique race. Trust me that another person's success doesn't diminish yours. Trust me to celebrate others' victories without feeling threatened. Trust me to help you run your race with endurance, keeping your eyes on me rather than on other runners. Trust me that you are exactly where you need to be in your journey. Trust me with your calling and assignments. I have prepared specific good works for you to walk in before the foundation of the world. Trust me to reveal your assignments in the right timing. Trust me that you don't have to have it all figured out right now. Trust me to equip you for every task I give you. Trust me that obedience is better than sacrifice. I'd rather you do what I'm asking than what seems more impressive. Trust me that your assignments may look different from others, but they're perfectly suited to you. Trust me that faithful completion of small assignments qualifies you for larger ones. Trust me with your sensitivity. Maybe you've been told you're too sensitive, that you feel too much, that you need to develop thicker skin. But I created you with your particular level of sensitivity for a reason. Trust me that your sensitivity is a gift, not a weakness. Trust me that I need sensitive people who can feel the pain of others, who notice what others miss, who care deeply about things that matter. Trust me to help you manage your sensitivity without hardening your heart. Trust me to show you how to feel deeply without being overwhelmed. Trust me that your tears move my heart and your compassion reflects my nature. Trust me with your stories and testimonies. Your life is full of stories, victories and defeats, miracles and mysteries, joy and sorrow. Trust me that your stories matter. Trust me to give you opportunities to share your testimonies with people who need to hear them. Trust me that your story can be someone else's survival guide. Trust me to remind you that you overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony. Trust me to help you tell your story in ways that point to me, not to yourself. Trust me that I'm still writing your story, and the best chapters may be yet to come. Trust me with your intuition and discernment. I've given you spiritual senses that pick up on things beyond the natural. Trust me when something doesn't feel right even if you can't explain why. Trust me to sharpen your discernment. Trust me to help you distinguish between my voice and other voices. Trust me that I often speak through peace or unease in your spirit. Trust me to give you wisdom about when to follow your intuition and when to gather more information. Trust me that discernment is a gift that grows with use and experience. Trust me with your brokenness. You've been broken by life, haven't you? Broken by betrayal, broken by loss, broken by disappointment, broken by sin. But I am close to the brokenhearted, and I save those who are crushed in spirit. Trust me to bind up your wounds. Trust me that I allow brokenness not to destroy you, but to remake you. Trust me that the places where you've been broken can become places where my light shines through. Trust me that I can take your broken pieces and create something more beautiful than what existed before. Trust me that brokenness often precedes breakthrough. Trust me with your voice. Your voice matters, the literal voice that speaks, and the metaphorical voice that expresses your unique perspective. Trust me to help you find your voice if you've lost it. Trust me to give you courage to use your voice when it's time to speak up. Trust me to help you control your voice when silence is more powerful. Trust me that I've given you something to say that needs to be heard. Trust me to open doors for your voice to reach the ears that need to hear it. Trust me to protect you when using your voice brings opposition. Trust me with your transformation. You are not who you used to be, and you're not yet who you will become. You're in process, always growing, always changing, always being transformed into my image. Trust me with the pace of your transformation. Trust me that I'm not in a hurry with you. Trust me that lasting transformation happens gradually, not instantaneously. Trust me that setbacks don't erase progress. Trust me that I'm working in you both to will and to act according to my good purpose. Trust me that the metamorphosis from caterpillar to butterfly requires darkness and struggle, but the result is worth it. Trust me with your limitations. You have limits, physical limits, mental limits, emotional limits, financial limits. But your limitations don't limit me. Trust me that I often work most powerfully through limited people. Trust me that I chose Moses despite his speech impediment. Trust me that I chose Gideon despite his weak army. Trust me that I chose Mary despite her youth. Trust me that your limitations create space for my power to be displayed. Trust me that when you reach the end of yourself, you find the beginning of what I can do through you. Trust me that my strength is made perfect in your weakness. Trust me with your privilege and advantage. Maybe you were born with advantages that others don't have: education, health, wealth, opportunity, social capital. Trust me to help you steward your privilege responsibly. Trust me to open your eyes to how others experience life differently. Trust me to use your advantages to create opportunities for others. Trust me to keep you humble and grateful. Trust me to show you how to leverage what you've been given for kingdom purposes. Trust me that to whom much is given, much is required, and I'll help you fulfill that requirement. Trust me with your disadvantage and obstacles. Maybe you started life with strikes against you: poverty, abuse, disability, discrimination, lack of opportunity. But trust me that your disadvantages don't disqualify you from your destiny. Trust me that I specialize in using the underdog. Trust me that obstacles can become stepping stones. Trust me that what the enemy meant for evil, I can turn to good. Trust me to redeem every disadvantage. Trust me to open doors that seem impossible to open. Trust me to give you favor that defies natural explanations. Trust me that where you start doesn't determine where you finish. Trust me with your rhythms and routines. Life needs structure and rhythm: daily routines, weekly patterns, seasonal traditions. Trust me to help you establish rhythms that serve you rather than enslave you. Trust me to show you which routines to keep and which to release. Trust me to give you discipline to maintain healthy habits. Trust me to give you flexibility to break routine when necessary. Trust me to help you create space for both the expected and the spontaneous. Trust me that good routines create freedom, not restriction. Trust me with your presence. Your presence matters more than your presence. Trust me that being fully present is one of the greatest gifts you can give to others and to yourself. Trust me to help you be present in this moment rather than lost in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's anxieties. Trust me to teach you how to put down your phone and pick up your life. Trust me to help you really see the people in front of you. Trust me to give you the gift of attention in a distracted age. Trust me that my presence is what you need most, and it's available to you right now. Trust me with your curiosity and wonder. I created you with an innate sense of wonder and a desire to explore and discover. Trust me to keep you curious about life, about people, about creation, about me. Trust me that questioning is not the same as doubting. Trust me to reward those who earnestly seek me. Trust me to reveal new things to those who stay curious. Trust me to keep your sense of wonder alive in a cynical world. Trust me that the day you stop being curious about me is the day you stop growing in me. Trust me with your generational curses and blessings. You inherited patterns from your family, some good, some destructive. Trust me to break generational curses that have plagued your family line. Trust me to heal family trauma that's been passed down for generations. Trust me to amplify generational blessings and multiply them in your life. Trust me to make you a cycle breaker, the one who says no more to dysfunction. Trust me to make you a cycle maker, establishing new healthy patterns for future generations. Trust me that redemption is not just personal, it's generational. Trust me with your productivity and effectiveness. I want you to be fruitful, but fruitfulness is different from busyness. Trust me to help you discern between activity and productivity. Trust me to show you how to work smarter, not just harder. Trust me to give you focus in a world of distraction. Trust me to help you prioritize the vital over the trivial. Trust me to teach you that sometimes rest is the most productive thing you can do. Trust me that I care more about your faithfulness than your productivity metrics. Trust me that true effectiveness comes from abiding in me, not from striving in your own strength. Trust me with your image and reputation management. You've probably spent energy trying to control how others perceive you. Trust me that you don't have to manage your image. You can just be yourself. Trust me that authenticity is more attractive than perfection. Trust me that people would rather follow someone real than someone polished. Trust me that your reputation is ultimately in my hands, not yours. Trust me that character will eventually win out over charisma. Trust me that you don't need everyone to like you or understand you. Trust me that being true to who I made you to be is better than being who others want you to be. Trust me with your seasons of obscurity. Not every season is visible. Sometimes you're working behind the scenes, preparing in private, growing in hiddenness. Trust me that obscurity is not a waste. Trust me that some of the most important work happens when no one is watching. Trust me that I'm developing you in the hidden place for the public place. Trust me that David tended sheep before he led a nation. Trust me that Jesus spent 30 years in obscurity before 3 years of ministry. Trust me that promotion comes from me, not from self-promotion. Trust me that when the time is right, I will bring you out of obscurity and into your moment. Trust me with your platform and audience. If you have influence, whether large or small, trust me with it. Trust me to grow your platform in the right timing. Trust me to give you the right message for your audience. Trust me to protect you from pride when your influence expands. Trust me to keep you humble when people praise you. Trust me to help you use your platform for my purposes, not for your ego. Trust me that I gave you influence for impact, not for income or fame. Trust me that one day you'll give account for how you used whatever platform I entrusted to you. Trust me with your investments of time, money, energy, and focus. Where you invest reveals what you value. Trust me to help you invest wisely. Trust me to show you what deserves your best time and what deserves only leftover time. Trust me to teach you where to invest your money for maximum kingdom return. Trust me to help you invest your energy in relationships and causes that matter eternally. Trust me to direct your focus toward what will still matter in 100 years. Trust me that the best investments are often invisible on earth but visible in eternity. Trust me with your stress and pressure. Life can feel overwhelming, like you're carrying weight that's too heavy to bear. Trust me to help you cast your cares on me because I care for you. Trust me that I never intended for you to carry burdens alone. Trust me to show you what's your responsibility and what you need to release. Trust me to give you strategies for managing stress. Trust me to remind you to breathe deeply. Move your body, drink water, get sunlight, connect with others. Trust me that stress is often a signal that you're trying to control things outside your control. Trust me to take the pressure off. Trust me with your learning and growth. You're never too old to learn something new, never too experienced to grow. Trust me to keep you teachable throughout your life. Trust me to bring teachers and lessons when you need them. Trust me to help you learn from both successes and failures. Trust me to give you hunger for wisdom and knowledge. Trust me to show you the balance between confidence in what you know and humility about what you don't know. Trust me that growth is sometimes painful but always worthwhile. Trust me that I'm committed to your transformation, not your comfort. Trust me with your yes and your no. Learning to say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things is a critical life skill. Trust me to help you say yes to opportunities that align with your calling. Trust me to help you say no to demands that would drain you without purpose. Trust me that every yes to something is a no to something else. Trust me to free you from the tyranny of other people's expectations. Trust me to help you say yes to me first, and let other yeses and nos flow from that primary yes. Trust me that no is a complete sentence, and you don't always owe people an explanation. Trust me with your visibility and vulnerability. To be known is to be vulnerable, and vulnerability feels risky. Trust me to help you be appropriately vulnerable with safe people. Trust me to protect you from those who would use your vulnerability against you. Trust me to give you wisdom about what to share and what to guard. Trust me that being seen for who you really are is better than being admired for who you're pretending to be. Trust me that vulnerability is the pathway to authentic connection. Trust me that I see you completely and love you totally, which gives you permission to let others see you too. Trust me with your digital presence and online life. The internet is a tool that can be used for great good or great harm. Trust me to guide your online behavior. Trust me to help you build rather than destroy with your words. Trust me to give you discernment about what to post and what to keep private. Trust me to protect you from comparison and envy. Trust me to help you use social media without being used by it. Trust me to remind you that your worth is not measured in likes, followers, or engagement metrics. Trust me that real life happens offline, not on a screen. Trust me with your consistency and perseverance. Success is often less about talent and more about showing up consistently over time. Trust me to give you endurance for the long journey. Trust me to help you persist when motivation fades. Trust me to remind you that small, consistent actions create massive results over time. Trust me that the compound effect of daily faithfulness is powerful. Trust me to help you stay the course even when you don't see immediate results. Trust me that I honor those who don't give up. Trust me that the race is not always to the swift but to those who keep running. Trust me with your celebrations and joys. When good things happen, celebrate them fully. Trust me that you don't have to minimize your joy or apologize for your blessings. Trust me that I take pleasure in your happiness. Trust me that celebration is not arrogance, it's gratitude. Trust me to remind you to savor good moments instead of rushing past them. Trust me to help you commemorate milestones and mark achievements. Trust me that joy is contagious, and your celebration can inspire hope in others. Trust me that there's a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Trust me with your navigation through complexity. Life is complicated, full of nuance and gray areas. Trust me to give you wisdom for complex situations that don't have simple answers. Trust me to help you hold tension between competing values. Trust me to show you when compromise is wisdom and when it's compromise of conviction. Trust me to give you discernment for navigating moral complexity. Trust me that I don't always give you easy answers, but I always give you my presence. Trust me that seeking me in complexity deepens your relationship with me. Trust me with your authenticity and genuineness. The world is full of pretense and performance, but I'm calling you to be real. Trust me to help you drop the masks and be genuinely yourself. Trust me that your imperfections don't disqualify you, they make you relatable. Trust me that people are drawn to authenticity more than perfection. Trust me to free you from the exhausting work of image management. Trust me to give you courage to be vulnerable and honest. Trust me that being true to who I made you is more important than fitting others' expectations. Trust me with your mission and mandate. You have a specific assignment that only you can fulfill. Trust me to reveal your mission clearly. Trust me to confirm it through multiple means. Trust me to provide everything you need to accomplish it. Trust me to surround you with people who support your mission. Trust me to protect you from distractions that would derail your mission. Trust me to give you laser focus on what matters most. Trust me that your mission is not just about you. It's about the people you're called to serve and the kingdom impact you're meant to make. Trust me with your gratitude and contentment. A grateful heart is a magnet for more blessings. Trust me to help you cultivate thankfulness as a daily practice. Trust me to open your eyes to see blessings you've been overlooking. Trust me to help you find reasons to be grateful even in difficulty. Trust me that contentment is not complacency. You can be content with where you are while still working toward where you're going. Trust me that comparison is the thief of joy and gratitude is the antidote. Trust me that when you thank me for what you have, you make room to receive what's coming. Trust me with your uniqueness and individuality. You are unlike anyone else who has ever lived or ever will live. Trust me that your uniqueness is intentional, not accidental. Trust me that you're not supposed to be like everyone else. Trust me to help you embrace what makes you different. Trust me to show you how your unique combination of gifts, experiences, and perspective is needed. Trust me that trying to fit in often means dimming the light I put in you. Trust me to give you confidence to stand out when standing out is required. Trust me that you were made to be an original, not a copy. Trust me with your process and journey. Everyone wants the destination, but character is built in the process. Trust me that the journey matters as much as the destination. Trust me that shortcuts often lead to long-term problems. Trust me that there are lessons in the process that you can't learn any other way. Trust me that I'm more interested in who you're becoming than what you're accomplishing. Trust me that the refining happens in the fire, not after it. Trust me that you can enjoy the journey even while anticipating the destination. Trust me that every step of the process has purpose. Trust me with your prophetic voice and insight. Maybe you see things others don't see, sense things others don't sense, know things you have no natural way of knowing. Trust me to develop your prophetic gift. Trust me to help you steward it wisely. Trust me to teach you when to speak and when to be quiet. Trust me to help you deliver hard messages with love. Trust me to confirm prophetic words through other means. Trust me to protect you from pride and from people-pleasing. Trust me that prophetic insight is not for show, it's for service. Trust me with your health habits and lifestyle choices. Your body is a temple of my spirit, and how you care for it matters. Trust me to help you make wise choices about food, exercise, sleep, and stress management. Trust me to give you discipline without obsession. Trust me to show you how to honor your body without worshiping it. Trust me to help you break unhealthy habits and establish healthy ones. Trust me that taking care of your physical health is not vanity, it's stewardship. Trust me to give you energy and vitality for the work I've called you to do. Trust me with your timing and pacing. You live in a culture that values speed, but my kingdom often operates on a different timeline. Trust me that slow is not the same as stuck. Trust me that delays are not denials. Trust me that I'm rarely early but never late. Trust me to help you pace yourself for the marathon, not just the sprint. Trust me that there's a time for everything under heaven. Trust me that hurry and faith rarely coexist. Trust me that when you feel rushed, it's often a sign you're operating in human timing rather than divine timing. Trust me with your justice-seeking and advocacy. If you have a heart for justice, that's from me. Trust me to channel your passion productively. Trust me to help you fight for justice without becoming bitter. Trust me to give you wisdom about which battles to fight. Trust me to sustain your energy for the long work of justice. Trust me to connect you with others who share your passion. Trust me to help you balance urgency with patience, prophetic voice with practical action. Trust me that justice work is kingdom work and I am with you in the fight. Trust me with your questions about suffering. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why does evil seem to prosper? Why is there so much pain in the world? These are hard questions without easy answers. Trust me that I grieve over suffering too. Trust me that I entered into human suffering through Jesus. Trust me that I will ultimately make all things right. Trust me that suffering can produce perseverance, character, and hope. Trust me that I can bring redemption from the worst circumstances. Trust me even when I don't answer all your questions about suffering. Trust me with your stewardship of the earth. I made this planet and called it good, and I gave humanity the responsibility to care for it. Trust me to show you how to be a good steward of creation. Trust me to give you practical ways to reduce waste and conserve resources. Trust me to help you appreciate the beauty of nature. Trust me to burden your heart for environmental issues. Trust me to use your voice and actions to influence others toward better earth stewardship. Trust me that caring for creation is an act of worship. Trust me with your patience and waiting. Waiting is hard because you want resolution now. Trust me that the waiting room is often where the most significant transformation happens. Trust me that I'm working while you're waiting. Trust me that the delay is not punishment, it's preparation. Trust me that patience is not passive, it's active trust in my timing. Trust me to help you wait well, not with gritted teeth, but with hopeful expectation. Trust me that what you're waiting for is being prepared, while you're being prepared for what you're waiting for. Trust me with your teachability and humility. Pride says, I know, but wisdom says, I'm still learning. Trust me to keep you humble enough to learn from anyone. Trust me to help you receive correction without defensiveness. Trust me to show you that every person you meet knows something you don't. Trust me to give you curiosity about other perspectives. Trust me to protect you from the arrogance of thinking you've arrived. Trust me that the moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop growing. Trust me that humble people are teachable people, and teachable people are usable people. Trust me with your scars and wounds. You carry marks from battles you've fought and trials you've endured. Trust me that your scars tell a story of survival. Trust me that wounds can heal even when scars remain. Trust me that I can use your scars to help others who are still bleeding. Trust me that what wounded you doesn't have to define you. Trust me that scars are evidence that you fought and won, that you were hurt but healed. Trust me that even Jesus kept his scars after resurrection. They're not a source of shame, but a testament to love and sacrifice. Trust me with your communication and speech patterns. Words have power, and how you communicate matters. Trust me to help you speak truth in love. Trust me to give you clarity in your communication. Trust me to help you listen actively, not just wait for your turn to talk. Trust me to teach you when to speak boldly and when to speak gently. Trust me to help you apologize sincerely when you've spoken wrongly. Trust me to give you words that build up rather than tear down. Trust me that communication is not just about transmitting information, it's about connecting hearts. Trust me with your seasons of waiting and delay. Sometimes you have to wait for answers, wait for breakthrough, wait for timing to align. Trust me that waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. Trust me that I'm working behind the scenes in ways you cannot see. Trust me that the delay is developing something in you that you'll need for what's next. Trust me that forced waiting often produces valuable patience. Trust me that I'm never late, even when I don't operate on your preferred timeline. Trust me that what you're waiting for will be worth the wait. Trust me with your contentment and satisfaction. In a consumer culture that constantly says you need more, I offer you contentment. Trust me that true satisfaction is found in me, not in stuff. Trust me that contentment is not settling, it's trusting that I will provide what I know you need. Trust me that you can be content with less and grateful for more. Trust me that enoughness is a state of heart, not a state of bank account. Trust me that contentment is the secret to joy that circumstances cannot steal. Trust me that when you learn contentment, you discover freedom. Trust me with your navigation of change. Change is constant, and it's often uncomfortable. Trust me that change is not your enemy. Trust me that I am unchanging in a world of change. Trust me to be your anchor when everything else is shifting. Trust me to help you adapt without losing your core identity. Trust me to show you what to hold on to and what to release. Trust me that change can be a doorway to growth. Trust me that seasons change but my faithfulness remains. Trust me that the only constant besides me is change itself. Trust me with your investments in people. Relationships require time, energy, and emotional investment. Trust me to show you who deserves your deepest investment. Trust me to help you invest wisely in people who are growing and will multiply your investment. Trust me to protect you from one-sided relationships that drain without replenishing. Trust me that investing in people is never wasted, even when relationships end. Trust me that some people are in your life for a reason, some for a season, and some for a lifetime, and I'll give you discernment to know the difference. Trust me with your legacy of love. When all is said and done, what matters most is love. Trust me to help you love well, love me, love yourself, love others. Trust me that love covers a multitude of sins. Trust me that love never fails. Trust me that the greatest of faith, hope, and love is love. Trust me to teach you what love really is, not just feeling but action, not just words but sacrifice, not just passion but commitment. Trust me that your legacy will be measured by how well you loved, not by what you accomplished or accumulated. Trust me with your humility and meekness. The world says be loud, be aggressive, be first. But I say blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Trust me that humility is not weakness, it's strength under control. Trust me that meekness is not timidity, it's power with gentleness. Trust me to teach you the humility of Jesus, who being in the form of God did not consider equality with God something to be grasped. Trust me that I exalt the humble and humble the proud. Trust me that true greatness in my kingdom comes through servanthood. Trust me with your capacity and bandwidth. You have limits on what you can do, how much you can carry, how many people you can serve. Trust me to help you know your capacity. Trust me to protect you from overextending. Trust me to give you permission to say, I'm at capacity. Trust me to help you guard your bandwidth for what matters most. Trust me that you're not responsible for everything or everyone. Trust me that even Jesus limited his ministry to what the Father gave him to do. Trust me that sustainable ministry and life require boundaries on your capacity. Trust me with your dreams and aspirations. The desires of your heart matter to me because I put them there. Trust me that I will fulfill the desires of those who delight in me. Trust me to either fulfill your dreams or replace them with better ones. Trust me that delay is not denial. Trust me to prepare you for the dreams I want to give you. Trust me that some dreams need to die so that greater dreams can be born. Trust me that I am able to do immeasurably more than all you ask or imagine. Trust me that your biggest dreams are too small compared to what I have planned for you. Trust me with your truth-telling and honesty. Truth matters, and speaking truth is not always easy. Trust me to give you courage to speak truth when it's unpopular. Trust me to help you speak truth in love, not in harshness. Trust me to help you be honest without being brutal. Trust me to protect you when truth-telling brings opposition. Trust me that lies may seem easier in the moment, but truth always wins in the end. Trust me that integrity means being truthful even when it costs you something. Trust me that I am the way, the truth, and the life, and following me means walking in truth. Trust me with your rest and restoration. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Trust me to show you when you need to rest. Trust me to protect your rest from guilt and interruption. Trust me that rest is not laziness, it's obedience to the rhythms I established. Trust me to restore your soul in quiet places. Trust me to renew your strength as you wait on me. Trust me that you can work tirelessly for 6 days because you designed a day of rest. Trust me that burnout is not a badge of honor. It's a sign of ignoring the need for restoration. Trust me to give you rest for your body, peace for your mind, and renewal for your spirit. Trust me with your transparency and openness. Being known requires being open about who you really are. Trust me to help you be appropriately transparent. Trust me to show you safe people with whom you can be completely open. Trust me that hiding keeps you sick while transparency brings healing. Trust me to give you courage to share your story. Trust me to protect you from those who would use your transparency against you. Trust me that vulnerability is not weakness but strength. Trust me that when you share your struggles, you give others permission to share theirs. Trust me with every breath you take. Right now, as you breathe in and out, trust me. I am the breath in your lungs, the beat of your heart, the life in your veins. Trust me with this moment and the next moment and every moment after that. Trust me when you wake in the morning. Trust me throughout your day. Trust me when you lay down again tomorrow night. Trust me always in all ways forever. My love for you is unchanging, unending, unshakable. You are mine and I am yours. Nothing can separate you from my love. Sleep peacefully in that truth tonight. Rest in the knowledge that I am watching over you, that my angels are encamped around you, that my spirit dwells within you. You are completely, totally, eternally safe in my embrace. Sleep now, beloved, sleep in peace, sleep in confidence, sleep in the security of my everlasting arms. I am singing over you. I am rejoicing over you with gladness. I am quieting you with my love. Let go of everything you've been holding onto so tightly. Release it into my hands. Tomorrow will have enough trouble of its own, but right now, in this moment, you are safe. You are loved. You are mine. Trust me, trust me, trust me. These are the last words I want you to hear as you drift off. Trust me with everything, for I am trustworthy. I have never failed and I never will. Good night, my precious child. Rest well. I will be right here when you wake. Trust me. Sleep now, beloved. Sleep in peace. Sleep in confidence. Sleep in the security of my everlasting arms. I am singing over you. I am rejoicing over you with gladness. I am quieting you with my love. Let go of everything you've been holding onto so tightly. Release it into my hands. Tomorrow will have enough trouble of its own, but right now, in this moment, you are safe. You are loved. You are mine. Trust me, trust me, trust me. These are the last words I want you to hear as you drift off. Trust me with everything, for I am trustworthy. I have never failed and I never will. Good night, my precious child. Rest well. I will be right here when you wake. Trust me. As you drift deeper into sleep now, let my presence surround you like a warm blanket. Let my peace fill every corner of your mind. Let my love saturate every cell of your body. You are safe. You are secure. You are mine. And I am yours now and forever, through every season, in every circumstance, until the end of time and beyond. Trust me, beloved child. Simply trust me. I am with you in the silence of this night. I am with you in every tomorrow that awaits. Trust me with your whole heart. Lean not on your own understanding, and I will make your paths straight. This is my promise to you, written not just in Scripture but on your heart. Sleep now in the fullness of that promise. You are my masterpiece, my beloved, my treasure. Trust me tonight and every night. I love you with an everlasting love, and nothing will ever change that. Rest now, trust me. May you sleep deeply and wake refreshed, knowing that I have been watching over you all through the night. Trust me always, precious child. I am faithful. When morning comes, you will rise with renewed strength because you trusted me enough to rest. That is my gift to you, rest that restores, peace that surpasses understanding, and love that never fails. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, release everything, trust me completely. Good night, my beloved, I am here. You are eternally secure in my unfailing love, trust me, always, forever. Amen. Rest in me now. As you close your eyes tonight, I want you to know that I am here with you. In this quiet moment, as the world around you settles into stillness, I draw near to speak directly to your heart. You have been carrying so much, haven't you? The weight of tomorrow's uncertainties, the echoes of yesterday's disappointments, the pressure of decisions that loom before you. But tonight, I am asking you to release all of that into my hands. Trust me, precious one. Those two simple words contain more power than you can imagine. Trust me with your fears. Trust me with your dreams. Trust me with the questions that keep you awake at night. Trust me with the burdens you've been trying to carry alone. I see you, child. I see every tear you've cried in secret, every prayer you've whispered in desperation, every moment when you've wondered if I was really listening. And I want you to know beyond any shadow of doubt that I have never left your side, not for a single moment. When you felt most alone, I was there. When you thought you were walking through the valley by yourself, I was carrying you. The footprints you saw behind you, those were mine. I have been orchestrating every detail of your life with perfect precision, weaving together a tapestry that is more beautiful than you can currently see. You only see the threads from the underside, tangled and chaotic, but I see the masterpiece from above, and it is breathtaking. Trust me tonight as you drift into sleep. Trust that I am working even in your rest. Your mind may stop its conscious activity, but my love never sleeps. I am watching over you every second. I am breathing life into your lungs. I am healing your body as you rest. I am sorting through the thoughts and experiences of your day, filing away what matters and dissolving what doesn't serve you. I am preparing you for tomorrow, equipping you with strength you don't yet know you possess. You don't have to strive or struggle or figure everything out. You simply need to trust me. When you trust me, you tap into a power source that is infinite and inexhaustible. My resources are unlimited. My wisdom knows no bounds. My love for you cannot be measured or contained. I spoke galaxies into existence with a word. I set the stars in their courses and named each one. I carved out the oceans and set boundaries for the seas. I designed the intricacies of every living cell and the complexity of the human brain. And yet, with all of that creative power at my disposal, you are my greatest treasure. You are the one I think about constantly. You are the one I delight in. You are the one I have pursued with relentless love since before you took your first breath. Trust me with your relationships. I know the people in your life confuse you sometimes. I know there are connections that have brought pain, misunderstandings that have created distance, words that have wounded deeply. But I am the great reconciler. I specialize in restoration. Where you see brokenness, I see potential for miracles. Where you see endings, I see new beginnings waiting to emerge. Trust me to bring the right people into your life at the right time. Trust me to remove those who would harm you or hold you back from your destiny. Trust me to heal the relationships that are meant to be healed and to give you peace about releasing those that have run their course. You don't have to manipulate or control or force anything. Simply trust me and watch how I orchestrate divine connections that will astound you. Trust me with your provision. I know you worry about money sometimes. I know you wonder how the bills will be paid, how you'll afford what you need, whether there will be enough. But remember who I am. I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. Every silver and gold belongs to me. The wealth of nations is at my command. And you are my child, which means you have full access to my unlimited supply. I fed the Israelites with manna from heaven for 40 years in the wilderness. I multiplied 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed thousands. I turned water into wine. I caused a coin to appear in a fish's mouth. I have never run out of resources, and I never will. Your lack is not a limitation to me. It's an opportunity for me to demonstrate my provision in ways that will strengthen your faith and testify to my goodness. Trust me with your career and calling. I know you have questions about your purpose. I know you sometimes wonder if you're on the right path, if you're making a difference, if your work matters. Let me assure you that I have created you for a specific purpose that only you can fulfill. There are people you are meant to reach that no one else can reach. There are problems you are meant to solve that require your unique combination of gifts and experiences. There are places you are meant to go where your presence will shift atmospheres and change destinies. You are not random or accidental. You are intentional and essential. Every skill you possess, every lesson you've learned, every trial you've overcome has been preparing you for what's ahead. Trust me to open the right doors at the right time. Trust me to close the wrong doors before you waste time pursuing paths that aren't for you. Trust me to promote you when you're ready, not when you think you're ready. Trust me with your health. I know your body has been a source of concern. I know you've dealt with pain, fatigue, symptoms that worry you. But I am Jehovah Rapha, the God who heals. I created your body with remarkable capacity for healing and regeneration. Even now, as you rest, I am sending healing through every cell, every organ, every system. I am commanding wholeness to manifest in your physical form. Where there has been weakness, I am releasing strength. Where there has been disease, I am decreeing health. Where there has been pain, I am bringing comfort and relief. Trust me enough to rest well tonight, knowing that sleep itself is healing. Trust me enough to release the stress that has been attacking your immune system. Trust me enough to believe that your best days of health are still ahead of you, not behind you. Trust me with your children. If you are a parent, I know the weight of responsibility you feel. I know you worry about their choices, their futures, their safety. But remember that I love them even more than you do, which seems impossible but is true. I knew them before they were formed in the womb. I have plans for them that are good, plans for hope and a future. They may wander, but they cannot wander beyond my reach. They may rebel, but they cannot escape my love. They may make mistakes, but I specialize in redemption and second chances. Trust me to surround them with angels. Trust me to speak to their hearts in ways you cannot. Trust me to bring mentors and influences into their lives that will guide them toward their destinies. Your prayers for them are powerful and effective, more than you know. But you must couple your prayers with trust, releasing them into my capable hands. Trust me with your parents and family. I know those relationships can be complicated. I know there may be wounds from childhood that still ache. I know there may be patterns of dysfunction that feel impossible to break, but nothing is too difficult for me. I can heal generational trauma. I can break curses that have plagued your family line for decades. I can bring forgiveness where there has been bitterness and understanding where there has been confusion. Trust me to give you wisdom in how to honor your parents while also maintaining healthy boundaries. Trust me to redeem what the enemy tried to steal through family dysfunction. Trust me to make you the one who breaks negative cycles and establishes new, healthy patterns for future generations. Trust me with your marriage or your desire for marriage. If you are married, I know the challenges you face. Marriage is a refining fire, revealing parts of yourself you didn't know existed, but I designed it that way intentionally. I use the friction of two becoming one to polish you into the image of Christ. Trust me to teach you how to love selflessly. Trust me to show you how to communicate effectively. Trust me to reignite passion that may have faded. Trust me to heal betrayals and disappointments. Trust me to make your marriage a testimony of my faithfulness. And if you are single but desire to be married, trust me with that too. Trust that I am preparing someone specifically for you, someone who will complement your calling and destiny. Trust that my timing is perfect, even when it doesn't match your timeline. Trust that I am using this season of singleness to prepare you for the partnership that's coming. Trust me with your past. I know you have regrets. I know there are decisions you wish you could undo, words you wish you could take back, moments you would give anything to change. But what if I told you that I can take every mistake, every failure, every sin, and weave it into something beautiful? What if I told you that Romans 8:28 really is true, that I work all things together for the good of those who love me? Your past does not disqualify you from your future. In fact, your past has equipped you in ways that a spotless history never could. You have compassion for the broken because you have been broken. You can offer hope to the struggling because you have struggled. You can testify to my grace because you have needed it desperately. Trust me to redeem every wasted year. Trust me to restore what the locusts have eaten. Trust me to turn your mess into your message and your test into your testimony. Trust me with your future. I know the unknown terrifies you sometimes. I know you want guarantees and certainty before you take the next step, but faith doesn't work that way. Faith means trusting me even when you can't see the full picture. Abraham didn't know where he was going when he left his homeland, but he trusted me and became the father of many nations. Moses didn't know how he would deliver Israel from Egypt, but he trusted me and witnessed miracles that defied natural law. David didn't know how he would defeat Goliath, but he trusted me and became a king. Your future is already secured in me. I have already gone before you and prepared the way. I have already defeated every enemy you will face. I have already supplied every resource you will need. Your job is simply to take the next step in front of you, trusting that I will illuminate the path as you go. Trust me with your purpose and calling. I know you sometimes feel inadequate for the assignment I've given you. I know you look at others and think they are more qualified, more talented, more equipped. But I don't call the qualified, I qualify the called. I specialize in using the unlikely and the overlooked. I chose David, the youngest son who was tending sheep. I chose Gideon, who was hiding in a winepress. I chose Esther, an orphan girl who became queen. I chose Peter, an uneducated fisherman who became a pillar of the church. I chose Paul, a persecutor of Christians who became the greatest missionary. And I have chosen you, with all your flaws and fears and insecurities, because I see something in you that you don't yet see in yourself. Trust me to empower you for everything I'm calling you to do. Trust me to give you the words when you need to speak. Trust me to grant you favor with the people who need to hear your message. Trust me in the waiting. I know patience is difficult for you. I know you want things to happen now, not later. But there is a season for planting and a season for harvest, and you cannot rush the process without damaging the fruit. The waiting is not wasted time. It is preparation time. I am developing character in you that will sustain you when the blessing comes. I am teaching you to depend on me rather than on circumstances. I am building faith muscles that will lift heavier weights in the future. I am working behind the scenes, aligning people and situations, and timing in ways you cannot orchestrate yourself. Trust me in the delay, trust me in the silence, trust me when nothing seems to be happening. More is happening than you can see or understand. Trust me with your finances. I know money feels scarce sometimes. I know there are desires in your heart for things that seem out of reach, but I am El Shaddai, the God of more than enough. I don't just meet your needs, I overflow your cup until it runs over. I give good gifts to my children. I take pleasure in prospering you. But prosperity isn't just about money in the bank. It's about contentment in every circumstance. It's about knowing that whether you have much or little, I am enough. Trust me to teach you financial wisdom. Trust me to break any poverty mindset that has limited you. Trust me to open streams of income from unexpected sources. Trust me to bless the work of your hands. Trust me to give you creative ideas that will generate provision. And trust me to help you be a generous giver, because there is no greater joy than being a conduit of my blessing to others. Trust me with your emotions. I know you feel things deeply. I know there are days when sadness overwhelms you, when anxiety grips your chest, when anger flares unexpectedly. Your emotions don't disqualify you or disappoint me. I created you as an emotional being. Jesus wept. Jesus felt compassion. Jesus experienced righteous anger. Your emotions are not your enemy, but they cannot be your master. Trust me to teach you how to feel your feelings without being controlled by them. Trust me to give you healthy ways to process pain. Trust me to replace anxiety with peace that transcends understanding. Trust me to heal emotional wounds that have been festering for years. Trust me to restore joy that has been stolen by disappointment and depression. Trust me with your dreams. I know there are desires buried deep in your heart that you've been afraid to acknowledge, afraid to speak out loud because you don't want to be disappointed again. But I am the one who planted those dreams there in the first place. They are not random wishes. They are divine assignments disguised as desires. The reason you want them so badly is because I want them for you. Trust me enough to dream again. Trust me enough to hope again. Trust me enough to believe that what I have promised, I am able to perform. Your dreams may look different than you originally imagined, because my version is always better than yours. But trust me that I will fulfill every promise I've made to you, in my way and in my timing. Trust me with your identity. You have been believing lies about yourself for too long. You have been listening to voices that tell you you're not enough, not smart enough, not attractive enough, not talented enough, not spiritual enough. But let me tell you who you really are. You are my beloved child. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are chosen, set apart, called for a purpose. You are the apple of my eye. You are my masterpiece. You are crowned with glory and honor. You are more than a conqueror. You are an heir to my kingdom. You are a royal priesthood. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. Your value is not based on your performance or other people's opinions. Your worth was established at the cross when I paid the highest price for you. Trust me when I tell you who you are, not the enemy's lies about who you aren't. Trust me with your ministry and service. Whether you serve in a church, in your workplace, in your community, or in the hidden place of your home, your service matters to me. No act of love is too small to notice. No gesture of kindness is wasted. The cup of cold water given in my name, the encouraging words spoken to a hurting soul, the meal prepared for a weary family, the prayer whispered on behalf of another, these are the building blocks of my kingdom. Trust me that you don't have to have a platform or a title to make a difference. Trust me that I see and reward what is done in secret. Trust me that your faithfulness in small things qualifies you for greater things. Trust me that the impact of your life will ripple into eternity in ways you cannot currently measure. Trust me with your battles. I know you are facing opposition. I know there are obstacles that seem insurmountable. I know there are enemies, both human and spiritual, that are arrayed against you. But the battle is not yours, it's mine. I am a warrior God. I fight for my children. When you feel outnumbered, remember that I and my angel armies are on your side. When you feel overpowered, remember that no weapon formed against you will prosper. When you feel overwhelmed, remember that I have already won the war. Trust me to fight battles you cannot win in your own strength. Trust me to confuse the plans of your enemies. Trust me to turn what was meant for evil into something that works for your good. Trust me as you sleep tonight. Sleep is not just a biological necessity, it's a spiritual act of trust. When you lay down and close your eyes, you are demonstrating that you trust me to sustain your life while you are unconscious and vulnerable. You trust me to keep your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your body functioning. You trust me to guard your home, protect your family, and hold back any evil that would seek to harm you in the night. Sleep is surrender. It's an acknowledgement that you are not in control, and that's okay because I am. So as you drift off tonight, let go of the illusion that you must manage and orchestrate everything. Trust me to handle what you cannot. Trust me to work on your behalf while you rest. Trust me with your addictions and struggles. I know there are battles you fight that no one else knows about. I know there are chains that bind you that you're ashamed to admit, but there is no condemnation in me. There is only love, compassion, and power to set you free. Trust me enough to bring your darkest secrets into my light. Trust me to break every chain that holds you captive. Trust me to give you victory over the habits that have dominated you. Trust me to replace emptiness with fulfillment, chaos with peace, bondage with freedom. You don't have to overcome in your own strength. My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in your weakness. Trust me one day at a time, one moment at a time, one choice at a time. Trust me with your social connections and community. I know you sometimes feel lonely. I know you long for deeper friendships, for people who truly see you and accept you. I designed you for community. It's not good for man to be alone. But trust me to bring the right people into your life at the right time. Trust me to remove toxic relationships that drain your energy and damage your soul. Trust me to give you discernment about who to let into your inner circle. Trust me to create authentic connections that will encourage your faith and sharpen your character. You are not meant to walk this journey alone, and I am orchestrating divine friendships that will bless you beyond measure. Trust me with your creative expression. Whether you paint or write or sing or build or design, your creativity is a reflection of my image in you. I am the ultimate creator, and I have passed that creative spark to you. Trust me to inspire you with fresh ideas. Trust me to give you the courage to create without fear of judgment. Trust me to open doors for your work to be seen and appreciated. Trust me to use your art to touch hearts and change lives. Don't bury your talent out of fear or false humility. Trust me enough to steward your gifts well, developing them, sharing them, using them for my glory and others' good. Trust me with your education and learning. Whether you are a student in school or a lifelong learner pursuing knowledge, I am the source of all wisdom. Trust me to help you understand difficult concepts. Trust me to give you clarity when things are confusing. Trust me to grant you favor with teachers and mentors. Trust me to direct your studies toward fields that align with your calling. Trust me to help you retain what you learn and apply it effectively. Knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. So trust me to keep you humble as you grow in understanding, always remembering that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Trust me with your technology and digital life. I know you live in a world that is increasingly connected and increasingly overwhelming. I know the internet can be a tool for good and a source of distraction and darkness. Trust me to give you wisdom about how to use technology without being enslaved by it. Trust me to protect you from online dangers and digital deception. Trust me to help you use social media in ways that build up rather than tear down. Trust me to guard your mind from the constant barrage of information and comparison. Trust me to help you create healthy boundaries that preserve your peace and protect your focus. Trust me with the planet and creation. I made this world and called it good. I gave humanity the responsibility to be good stewards of the earth. Trust me to guide you in how to care for my creation. Trust me to show you practical ways to honor the resources I've provided. Trust me to give wisdom to leaders making decisions about environmental issues. Trust me to sustain and heal the planet even as human activity takes its toll. And trust me that ultimately I am making all things new, and there is coming a day when creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay. Trust me with justice and righteousness. I know you see injustice in the world and it grieves your heart. It grieves mine too. I am a God of justice. I love righteousness and hate wickedness. Trust me to judge the earth with equity. Trust me to vindicate the oppressed. Trust me to bring down the proud and lift up the humble. Trust me to expose corruption and establish truth. Trust me to use you as an instrument of justice in your sphere of influence. Trust me to give you courage to speak up for the voiceless and stand with the marginalized. But also trust me to be patient with those who don't yet know me, even as I was patient with you before you knew me. Trust me with your church and spiritual community. I know church can be messy. I know Christians can be hypocritical. I know you've been hurt by people who were supposed to represent me, but don't give up on my bride. The church, despite all its flaws, is my chosen instrument for transforming the world. Trust me to lead you to a spiritual family where you can grow and serve. Trust me to give you grace for imperfect people, recognizing that you are imperfect too. Trust me to use even the disappointments in church to mature your faith and develop your character. Trust me to raise up leaders with integrity who will shepherd my people well. And trust me to be present wherever 2 or 3 gather in my name. Trust me with your nation and government. I establish authorities and remove them according to my purposes. No leader rises to power outside of my sovereign plan. That doesn't mean I endorse every action of every leader, but it means I am never caught off guard by political developments. Trust me to guide your nation's leaders, even when they don't acknowledge me. Trust me to protect your freedoms and your safety. Trust me to use political systems, flawed as they are, to accomplish my purposes. Trust me to give you wisdom about how to engage in civic life. And most importantly, trust me to remind you that your citizenship is in heaven, and no earthly government can separate you from my love. Trust me with global events. I know the news can be terrifying. I know it seems like the world is spinning out of control, but I hold the world in my hands. Nations rise and fall at my command. I set the boundaries for kingdoms. I determine the times and seasons. Trust me that nothing happening on the world stage surprises me or threatens my plans. Trust me to protect my people in the midst of global chaos. Trust me to use even international conflicts and crises to draw people to myself. Trust me to be present in every nation, every tribe, every language. Trust me that the gates of hell will not prevail against my church, no matter what happens politically or economically or socially. Trust me in your grief. If you have lost someone you love, I am close to the brokenhearted. I collect every tear you cry. I know the depth of your pain because I experienced loss too. Jesus wept at Lazarus's tomb even though he knew he was about to raise him from the dead. Your grief is not a sign of weak faith. It's a sign of deep love. Trust me to comfort you in your sorrow. Trust me to remind you that death is not the end for those who belong to me. Trust me that you will see your loved one again. Trust me to fill the empty place in your heart with my presence. Trust me to bring joy back into your life, not as a betrayal of the one you lost, but as a testimony to the resilience I built into you. Trust me with your body image. I know you struggle with how you look. I know you compare yourself to others and feel like you don't measure up, but beauty is not defined by the world's standards. You are beautiful because you are mine. Your body is a temple of my spirit. It's the vehicle I gave you to accomplish your purpose on earth. Trust me to help you see yourself through my eyes. Trust me to free you from the tyranny of unrealistic standards and impossible expectations. Trust me to give you wisdom about health without obsession. Trust me to help you appreciate the body you have rather than constantly wishing for one you don't. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Every curve, every feature, every so-called flaw. Trust me with your sexuality. I created sexuality as a good gift, not as something shameful or dirty. Within the boundaries I established, sexual intimacy is beautiful and holy. Trust me to heal any shame or abuse you've experienced related to sexuality. Trust me to restore what has been distorted. Trust me to give you self-control where you need it and freedom where you've been bound by legalism. Trust me to guide you into healthy expressions of sexuality that honor me and honor others. Trust me to protect you from the lies and perversions that our sexualized culture promotes. And trust me that my design for sex is always best, even when it seems restrictive compared to what the world offers. Trust me with your mental health. Your mind is a battlefield, and the enemy loves to plant lies, doubts, and fears in your thoughts. But I have given you the mind of Christ. Trust me to renew your mind through my word. Trust me to replace negative thought patterns with truth. Trust me to heal chemical imbalances and mental illnesses. Trust me to lead you to good counselors and medical professionals who can help. Trust me that seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. Trust me to break through the darkness of depression and the spiral of anxiety. Trust me to restore your mind to the clarity and peace I designed for you to experience. Trust me as the morning comes. When you wake up tomorrow, you will face a new day with new challenges and new opportunities. Trust me to meet you there. Trust me to give you strength for the journey ahead. Trust me to supply wisdom for the decisions you need to make. Trust me to grant you favor with people you will encounter. Trust me to protect you from harm and danger. Trust me to use you to be a blessing to someone who needs hope. Trust me to teach you something new about myself and about who you are becoming. Trust me that tomorrow is already in my hands, prepared for you before you arrive there. Trust me always. Trust me in every season. Trust me in the mountain peaks and the valleys. Trust me in the celebrations and the sorrows. Trust me in the abundance and the scarcity. Trust me in the clarity and the confusion. Trust me when life makes sense and when it doesn't. Trust me when you feel close to me and when you feel distant. Trust me when prayers are answered and when they seem to bounce off the ceiling. Trust me when doors open easily and when they stay stubbornly closed. Trust me in sickness and in health. Trust me in youth and in old age. Trust me in life and in death. Trust me now. Trust me tomorrow. Trust me forever. My child, as you settle into sleep now, let these words wash over you like a warm blanket. Let them sink deep into your spirit. Let them displace every worry, every fear, every doubt. You are held, you are loved, you are safe, you are seen, you are known, you are chosen, you are mine. Nothing can separate you from my love, not death nor life, not angels nor demons, not the present nor the future, not height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation. I am with you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Close your eyes now and rest in that truth. Trust me to watch over you through the night. Trust me to refresh you as you sleep. Trust me to prepare you for the good works I have already created for you to do tomorrow. Trust me with your aging process. I know you worry about getting older. I know you see the wrinkles forming, the hair graying, the energy diminishing. But I see something different. I see wisdom being etched into your face through every experience. I see character being refined through every year. I see someone who is becoming more like me with each passing season. Your youth was beautiful, but your maturity is glorious. Trust me that your latter years can be more fruitful than your former years. Trust me that I have purposes for you in every stage of life. Trust me that you are not fading, you are ripening. The best wine comes from aged grapes. Trust me to give you grace for the physical changes. Trust me to maintain your mental sharpness. Trust me to deepen your spiritual sensitivity. Trust me that growing older is a gift that not everyone receives, and I intend to fill your years with meaning. Trust me with your reputation. I know you care what people think about you. I know you want to be respected and appreciated, but trust me that your reputation is in my hands, not in the hands of gossips and critics. Trust me to defend your name when you are falsely accused. Trust me to vindicate you when you are misunderstood. Trust me to let your character speak louder than your critics. Trust me that the opinion of the one who created you matters infinitely more than the opinions of those who criticize you. Trust me that if I am for you, it doesn't matter who is against you. Trust me to give you thick skin against unfair attacks and soft heart toward those who are hurting. Trust me that your true reputation is what I say about you, not what people say about you. Trust me with your schedule and your time. I know you feel rushed, pressured, squeezed by too many commitments and not enough hours in the day. But remember that I am outside of time. I created time, and I can redeem time. Trust me to help you prioritize what matters most. Trust me to give you the courage to say no to good things so you can say yes to the best things. Trust me to multiply your effectiveness when you align your schedule with my priorities. Trust me that hurry is not from me. Trust me to teach you the rhythm of work and rest that I established from the beginning of creation. Trust me to show you what to prune from your life and what to nurture. Trust me that you don't have to do everything, you just have to do what I'm asking you to do. Trust me with your failures. I know you have tried things that didn't work out. I know you have started businesses that failed, pursued degrees that felt like dead ends, launched initiatives that never got off the ground. But I don't see those as failures, I see them as education. Every attempt taught you something valuable. Every setback prepared you for something ahead. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times to create the light bulb. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. Trust me that your so-called failures are actually research and development for your ultimate success. Trust me to salvage something useful from every disappointment. Trust me that I never waste experiences, even painful ones. Trust me that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone toward success. Trust me with your questions. I know you have so many questions. Why did this happen? Where were you when I needed you? How long will this take? What am I supposed to learn from this? And I want you to know that your questions don't offend me. I'm big enough to handle your doubts and strong enough to hold space for your confusion. Some of your questions will be answered in time. Some will be answered in eternity. And some will dissolve as you grow in trust and discover that knowing me is more important than knowing the answers. Trust me that it's okay to not understand everything. Trust me that mystery is not the enemy of faith. It's an invitation to deeper intimacy. Trust me that I am working even when you can't figure out how. Trust me that the unknown is not a threat when you know the one who knows everything. Trust me with your talents and abilities. You have gifts that I gave you, unique to you, designed for specific purposes. But I know you sometimes question whether your gifts are good enough, whether they matter, whether anyone notices or cares. Trust me that I don't make mistakes in how I distribute gifts. Trust me that your particular combination of abilities is exactly what someone somewhere needs. Trust me that small gifts used faithfully are more valuable than great gifts used selfishly. Trust me to multiply what you offer when you give it to me, just like I multiplied the boys' lunch to feed thousands. Trust me that it's not the size of your gift that matters, but the size of your willingness to use it for my glory. Trust me with your legacy. What will you leave behind when you're gone? Who will remember you? What impact will your life have had? These questions matter to you, and they matter to me too. But trust me that legacy is not measured by monuments or money or fame. It's measured by lives touched, faith passed on, love poured out. Trust me that every act of kindness creates ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. Trust me that the people you influence for me will influence others, who will influence others, creating a chain reaction of blessing that reaches into eternity. Trust me that significance is not the same as success. Trust me that hidden faithfulness creates lasting legacy. Trust me that the seeds you plant today will grow into forests tomorrow, even if you never see the full harvest. Trust me with your disappointments. Life hasn't turned out the way you planned, has it? There are dreams that died, prayers that seem unanswered, promises that feel broken. But trust me that I am doing something better than what you asked for, even when it doesn't feel better. Trust me that my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. Trust me that I see the full picture when you only see a small piece. Trust me that I am writing a better story than the one you had in mind. Trust me that what looks like a detour is actually the path. Trust me that what feels like a setback is actually a setup for something greater. Trust me that your disappointment is often the gap between your expectations and my plans are always superior. Trust me with your addictions to approval. You seek validation from others, don't you? You want people to like you, accept you, approve of you. You adjust your behavior based on who's watching. You filter your words through the question of how they'll be received. But trust me that you already have all the approval you need. I approved of you before you did anything to earn it. I chose you before you chose me. I loved you before you were lovable. Trust me that you don't have to perform for people's applause. Trust me that you don't have to live for human approval when you have divine acceptance. Trust me to break the chains of people-pleasing. Trust me to give you the freedom to be authentically yourself, without apology or explanation. Trust me that the right people will love the real you, and the wrong people's opinions don't matter. Trust me with your loneliness. There are nights when you feel profoundly alone, aren't there? When you long for someone who truly understands you, someone who sees you and knows you and stays anyway. But I want you to know that you are never alone. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. I know every thought before you think it. I know every word before you speak it. I know every emotion before you feel it, and still I choose you, still I pursue you, still I delight in you. Trust me that I can fill the deepest places of your heart that no human relationship ever could. Trust me that I created you for connection with me first, and all other relationships are meant to flow from that primary connection. Trust me to be enough for you, even when other people disappoint or leave. Trust me that I will never leave you or forsake you. Trust me with your spiritual growth. I know you sometimes feel like you're not progressing in your faith. I know you compare your spiritual journey to others and feel like you're falling behind. But growth in my kingdom doesn't follow a linear path. There are seasons of rapid growth and seasons of consolidation. There are seasons of visible progress and seasons of hidden development. Trust me that I am maturing you at exactly the right pace. Trust me that I'm not in a hurry with you. Trust me that the work I started in you, I will faithfully complete. Trust me that transformation happens through 1,000 small choices, not through one dramatic moment. Trust me that you are further along than you think you are, even if you can't see it yet. Trust me with your worship. Worship is not just singing songs, though it includes that. Worship is the posture of your heart toward me. It's recognizing my worth and responding with adoration, surrender, and obedience. Trust me that I'm not looking for perfect pitch or professional quality. Trust me that I'm listening to the song of your heart, not the sound of your voice. Trust me that your whole life can be an act of worship when you do everything as unto me. Trust me that worship realigns your perspective, lifting your eyes from your problems to my greatness. Trust me that when you worship, you create space for my presence to fill you and transform you. Trust me that I inhabit the praises of my people, and when you worship, you invite me to move powerfully in your circumstances. Trust me with your weakness. You think your weaknesses disqualify you, but I see them differently. Your weaknesses are the cracks through which my light shines brightest. Your weaknesses keep you dependent on me, which is exactly where I want you. Paul asked me to remove his thorn in the flesh, But I told him my grace is sufficient, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Trust me that you don't have to be strong all the time. Trust me that it's okay to need help. Trust me that vulnerability is not a liability, it's an opportunity for my strength to be displayed. Trust me that when you are weak, then you are strong because you're relying on me instead of yourself. Trust me with your teaching and influence. Whether you teach in a classroom, mentor in a workplace, parent in a home, or lead in a ministry, you have influence over others. That's a weighty responsibility, isn't it? But trust me to give you the wisdom you need for those you influence. Trust me to put the right words in your mouth at the right time. Trust me to help you model what you teach. Trust me to give you discernment about when to speak and when to listen. Trust me to multiply the impact of your influence beyond what you can measure or observe. Trust me that seeds of truth you plant today may not sprout immediately, but will bear fruit in the right season. Trust me that I will help you point people to me, not to yourself. Trust me with your possessions. Everything you have is on loan from me. Your house, your car, your clothes, your money, your stuff, it all belongs to me. You are a steward, not an owner. Trust me to help you hold your possessions loosely. Trust me that you can't take any of it with you when you die, so use it for eternal purposes while you can. Trust me that generosity is the antidote to greed and gratitude is the antidote to entitlement. Trust me that when you give, you make room to receive more, not just materially but spiritually. Trust me that I will take care of your needs as you prioritize my kingdom. Trust me that where your treasure is, your heart will be also, so invest your resources in things that matter eternally. Trust me with your disappointments in others. People will let you down. Even good people with good intentions will fail you sometimes because people are imperfect. Trust me to help you extend grace to others the way I extend grace to you. Trust me that forgiveness is not excusing what they did. It's releasing them to me for judgment and releasing yourself from the prison of bitterness. Trust me that holding a grudge hurts you more than it hurts them. Trust me to heal the wounds that others' failures have caused. Trust me to restore relationships that can be restored and to give you peace about releasing relationships that need to end. Trust me that I am the only one who will never disappoint you or fail you. Trust me with your words. The tongue is a small member, but it can cause great damage. Words have power to build up or tear down, to heal or wound, to bless or curse. Trust me to guard your mouth. Trust me to help you speak truth in love. Trust me to give you self-control when you're tempted to gossip or complain or criticize. Trust me to put words of encouragement and life in your mouth. Trust me that silence is sometimes more powerful than speech. Trust me to redeem careless words you've already spoken through sincere apology and changed behavior. Trust me that I can use your words to minister hope and healing to others if you surrender your speech to me. Trust me with your spiritual warfare. You have an enemy who prowls around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. He is real, he is active, and he hates you. But trust me that I am greater than your enemy. Trust me that the battle is mine. Trust me that I have already defeated Satan at the cross. Trust me that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Trust me that I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Trust me to teach you how to use spiritual weapons: prayer, praise, the word, faith, righteousness, truth, the gospel of peace. Trust me to expose the enemy's schemes so you can stand firm against them. Trust me that the victory is already won, you're just walking it out. Trust me with your hidden sins. There are things you do in secret that you're ashamed of, things you hope no one ever discovers. But I already know, and I love you anyway. There is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Trust me enough to bring those hidden things into the light. Trust me that confession is the beginning of healing. Trust me that what you hide has power over you, but what you expose to my light loses its grip. Trust me to help you overcome temptation. Trust me to give you accountability and support. Trust me to replace shame with forgiveness. Trust me that I don't expose your sin to humiliate you, but to heal you. Trust me that there is no sin too big for my grace to cover. Trust me with your plans. You make plans, and that's good. I want you to be thoughtful and intentional about your life, but hold your plans loosely because I may have different ideas. Trust me to guide your planning process. Trust me to close doors that lead to paths I haven't prepared for you. Trust me to confirm plans that align with my will. Trust me to give you peace as a compass for decision-making. Trust me to redirect you when you start heading the wrong direction. Trust me that my plan A is always better than your plan B. Trust me that when your plans fall apart, it's often because I'm making way for something better. Trust me enough to write your plans in pencil while I hold the eraser. Trust me with your gratitude. Thanksgiving is not just a holiday, it's a lifestyle. When you cultivate gratitude, you shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right, from what you lack to what you have, from complaints to celebration. Trust me to help you develop eyes that see blessings even in difficult circumstances. Trust me that there is always something to be thankful for if you look for it. Trust me that gratitude is a weapon against depression, anxiety, and discontent. Trust me that when you thank me for small things, I often trust you with bigger things. Trust me that a grateful heart is a magnet for more blessings. Trust me that Thanksgiving is not just good manners, it's good medicine for your soul. Trust me with your expectations. Expectations can be a source of joy when they're met, or a source of pain when they're disappointed. Trust me to help you align your expectations with reality and with my promises. Trust me to reveal when your expectations are unrealistic or unfair. Trust me to manage your expectations of others so you're not constantly disappointed. Trust me to exceed your expectations in ways you never imagined. Trust me that I am able to do immeasurably more than all you ask or imagine according to my power that works within you. Trust me that when you expect great things from me, you position yourself to receive them. Trust me that hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Trust me with your entertainment and media. The things you allow into your mind through movies, music, books, and social media shape your thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs. Trust me to give you discernment about what you consume. Trust me to help you recognize when entertainment is feeding your spirit or poisoning it. Trust me that not everything popular is good for you. Trust me that you can enjoy recreation without compromising your values. Trust me to help you set healthy boundaries around screen time and media consumption. Trust me that what you feed grows and what you starve dies. So feed your faith and starve your doubts by choosing content wisely. Trust me with your extended family. Family dynamics can be complicated, can't they? There are personalities that clash, old wounds that haven't healed, expectations that suffocate, traditions that feel obligatory. Trust me to give you wisdom in navigating family relationships. Trust me to help you honor your family without being controlled by them. Trust me to bring healing to generational patterns that have caused pain. Trust me to help you be a peacemaker without being a people pleaser. Trust me to give you grace for difficult relatives. Trust me to show you how to create healthy boundaries that preserve relationships while protecting your peace. Trust me that you can love family members without liking everything they do. Trust me with your hobbies and recreation. I didn't create you to work all the time. I created you with the need for rest, play, creativity, and enjoyment. Your hobbies matter to me because they bring you joy. Trust me to protect time for recreation in your schedule. Trust me to help you develop interests that refresh your soul. Trust me that it's not selfish to do things simply because you enjoy them. Trust me to connect you with others who share your interests. Trust me to use your hobbies to restore balance in your life. Trust me that Sabbath rest is a gift, not a burden, and includes time for activities that make you come alive. Trust me with your pets and animals. If you have pets, you know the joy and companionship they bring. I created animals and declared them good. I care about every sparrow that falls, and I care about your pets too. Trust me to help you care for them well. Trust me to give them health and longevity. Trust me to comfort you when you lose a pet. Trust me that the love you have for animals reflects a small part of the love I have for all creation. Trust me to use even your pets to teach you about unconditional love, loyalty, and joy in simple pleasures. Trust me with your neighbors and community. I've placed you in your neighborhood for a purpose. You are salt and light right where you are. Trust me to give you opportunities to serve your neighbors. Trust me to open doors for conversations about me. Trust me to make you a blessing to your community. Trust me to show you practical ways to demonstrate my love. Trust me to help you bridge divides and build connections. Trust me to use your presence to make your neighborhood a better place. Trust me that every interaction is an opportunity to represent me well. Trust me with your mistakes. You've made so many, haven't you? Big ones and small ones. Some that hurt only you and some that hurt others. But trust me that I specialize in making beauty from ashes. Trust me that I can take your biggest mistakes and use them for your greatest testimonies. Trust me that I don't hold your past against you. Trust me that in Christ you are a new creation and the old has passed away. Trust me that mistakes are often the best teachers. Trust me that I'm more interested in your direction than your perfection. Trust me that every saint has a past and every sinner has a future.